LON page 85. So you don't like my attitude. Well, that's just tough. You know, the first time we came across each other was when you answered a video of mine to Venom Fang X, and then you followed it up with something called your proof of God through some kind of brain idea that you had. Brainy? Maybe. I doubt it. You said that you got all this in a blinding flash of inspiration, and you started out by telling me that you were going to break it down in small pieces so that I would not get confused. So you started out condescending at the very beginning. You were smug. You were a prick, as you just called me. So in your written comments, you will see that I've answered that you were a punk, because that's what I think you are. I don't like you very well. Now, I'm sure that the viewers of all of this are going to love the drama because apparently YouTubers like drama. I'm not particularly fond of it myself, but I'll go along in this case because I really don't like you. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the generations of Mary and the generations of Joseph, as told by Matthew and Luke. And that's assuming, and I don't really assume, but I'm going to give it to you just for the purpose of this argument, that Luke really was referring to Mary and not Joseph, even though he says it's from David to Joseph. That's what he says. Anyway, and then you incompletely quote Romans 1:3 as if you're telling us all something, and I guess you're hoping that nobody's actually going to go look it up. That it says that it was supposed that he was the son, he was of the line of David, but you leave out where it says according to the flesh. That's in Romans 1:3. You left that part out. You didn't read it. That to me is dishonest. If you're going to read a scripture, even one verse, you can at least read the whole damn verse. But you didn't bother with that because it would have weakened your argument. Anyway, let's get into this. Again, generously allowing that each of the sons in both generations begat a new generation at the age of 13, as soon as it would be that's as soon as it would normally be physically possible. All right, assuming that the 40 generations in Luke's genealogy from Heli to Mary, again, I say Joseph, you say Mary, but I'm giving you Mary, as you insist. Given a minimum of 13 years between generations, it comes to a minimum of 520 years between David and Mary. That's if they procreated at the age of 13. Now, the 26 generations in Matthew's genealogy from Solomon to Joseph, given a generous 20 years in between the generations, that is, that each of the sons from Solomon through Joseph procreated first at the age of 20 instead of 13, it comes to, oh my goodness, 520 years. You could possibly be right, but only if all of Mary's progenitors had procreated at the age of 13 and all of Joseph's at the age of 20. Now, how likely is that? If you actually took the 40 generations of Mary's line, as you again, as reported in Luke, and used that same 20-year figure, which is actually much more likely than 13, because we're talking about males here, not females, the total would have been 800 years, and they still could not possibly have been contemporary. For the two to have matched up in Mary's line, it would have to, the men in, I'm sorry, not in Mary's, I wrote it wrong here. If for the two to have matched up, all of the males in the line from Solomon to Joseph would have to have waited a minimum of 30.1 years. 30 years. And that is not likely. And that would have to be if all of the males in the Solomon line waited 30 years and all of the males in the Mary line procreated at 13. It's not likely. It's so unlikely that I think we can dismiss it. I'm sure that you won't. But as I wrote someplace in somebody's comments, whether yours or someplace else, trying to pin a Christian down on any kind of a contradiction in the Bible is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. You're not going to admit anything, no matter how good the argument is against you. But that's it, and that is my final word on this subject.